America. It is July 6th. I'm Erick Erickson. Hope you had a great Independence Day weekend. These are the 4 things you need to know. Before I get to those, just some comments from last week. Philip said, on Mr. Trump's attempt to get stakes in companies, I'm just going to point out that we don't have to speculate on what Andrew Jackson and his democracy would have thought of such things. We know government picking winners and losers was something the Democratic Party was foursquare against, and why they were against internal improvements being funded by the federal government. Maybe Mr. Trump needs to have Henry Clay's portrait overlooking the Resolute desk, not Old Hickory. And David wrote, OpenAI wants the government to have a stake to bail them out when all this AI implodes. AI is still years away from true profitability and will need government support to survive. The open funds that kept a company like Amazon alive while it only sold books have dried up. Not necessarily the case, David. Plenty of investment opportunities out there if done right. I don't like this government socialism business. Now, up first, Folarin Balogun gets to play. That's the American player who was red carded. The president says he did ask questions about the red card, which opened the investigation, but the president is not claiming credit for the reversal, which is notable. Lots of Democrats suddenly declaring they're going to root for the Belgians because of Mr. Trump's questioning, but we actually know from FIFA it was the American soccer officials who filed a protest to an independent panel of 18 people who reviewed the call and looked. Even the FIFA officials say that President Trump did not influence the decision. Of course, the left says, well, that's what they would say. But would they really? It's a corrupt organization, but it does appear that the proper channels were followed in this case to revoke that red card. The Belgians filed an appeal, and FIFA said they had no standing to appeal. So the American will be on the American team playing against the Belgians tonight. We'll see how it goes. Want these 4 things every single day without hunting for them? Subscribe now. Ukraine has a shortage of Patriot missiles. It's giving Russia renewed opportunities to try to destroy Kyiv. The Russians have launched massive missile attacks, and, well, Ukraine just doesn't have enough defenses to be able to stop all the missiles now, and we don't have enough Patriot missiles, it appears, to give to them. Whether or not we would is actually not really the question here, because they just don't seem to have enough to give them, which actually raises bigger questions about American supply lines, particularly our missile technology, Raytheon and other defense contractors who have consolidated over time, and now they're actually slower to procure defensive weapons. The Pentagon is pushing renewed efforts to speed up the process to no avail, it seems. Lots of questions about what's going on with the American defense industry right now as they cannot keep up with demand and have not been able to boost reserve supplies or manufacturing processes to speed up, and now Ukraine is being impacted. Turkey is hosting NATO. The president headed to NATO summit with world leaders. The president says he wants to go because Erdogan, the president of Turkey, has invited him. Increasingly, Europeans and others in NATO are looking at Turkey as a necessary ally, even if they worry about Turkey's growing radical Islam and the fact that President Erdogan has more and more been openly anti-Semitic and openly sympathetic to Iran. It was Erdogan, after all, who convinced the president not to go through with the plan to destabilize the Iranian government, which has led to our present situation. He's not really a friend of the West anymore, but he is a necessary ally given his closeness to the Russian territories of the old Soviet Union, which was why Turkey was put into NATO, and we have American military operations in that country. We got concerns with the Turks, but the Europeans right now are looking at Turkey saying they might be able to help on multiple fronts against the Russians, the Chinese, and, frankly, even the Iranians and growing Islamic radical forces in the Middle East. Lastly, Graham Plattner might be dropping out. There are rumors he's suspended multiple campaign events. His campaign team says he's just feeling unwell, but there have now for the last week been stories percolating that someone might finally have come forward to give the full horror story about Graham Plattner, and there are growing concerns in Maine that he might actually drop out. Republicans, of course, are alarmed that he would do this before July 11th. That's the ballot deadline. If he drops out after July 11th, he's stuck. His name is on the ballot. If he drops out before then, Democrats get to replace him. There appears to be a renewed behind-the-scene effort by Democrats to force him out of the race before the deadline. His fundraising has now declined as more people learn about him. His financial resources have now been tapped. He's having struggles financially, rumor has it, among other things. And now his campaign, they've kind of gone dark. They say it's because he's just not feeling well. We'll see if this holds up. Again, the rumor among Democrats in Maine is that Graham Plattner may be dropping out of the race to avert a far more damaging story coming out, which Republicans have believed for a while women would ultimately come forward to tell their horror stories of Graham Plattner, and it looks like Judgment Day may soon be upon him. I'm Erick Erickson. I have a question for you. Can you understand at all the Democrats out there who have decided they're going to root for Belgium because possibly the president influenced the FIFA decision? I can't understand the people who want to root against their own country, particularly in soccer of all things. No one has ever cared about the United States. We've been lectured relentlessly by the left on how soccer's the superior sport. It's supposedly left-coded, and now with the audacity that it might actually make Trump happy if Americans win in soccer, suddenly the left is like, well, we'll root for the Belgians. I'm just not sure I understand it. Do you? Let me know in the comments. Have a great day.